Hey guys, John Lee here for Cancer Donations Team 4. Um, the update on my charity event is that I've got to a bit more than halfway over my goal, 255 of $500. I've had a couple of donations this week from Barry Boswick and opperwezen. So the deal is with the viewers that if I receive a donation of $20 or more, as a token of appreciation, I'll analyse a game of the donator's choice. So for tonight, Cancer Donations Team 4, we've got opperwezen's request. His request is me to have a look at a game between Suwanet and himself. He was black. He won this game, but there's a lot to talk about in this game. Suwanet and opperwezen, yeah, clearly two of the strong players, challenging the top ranks at Elite Chess. So it's nice to comment on a game of two strong players where I'm not taking the side of either white or black, so yeah, let's get started. E4, knight c6. So I mean, you've seen a lot of e4, e5 on my channel. Knight c6 is a bit versatile. There's a lot of options that can come of this. Traditionally in chess, it's called a Nimzowitsch opening, but yeah, there's quite a lot of differences in Crazy House that this is actually leading to a lot of options. Knight f3, e5 could transpose to a regular game, but opperwezen chooses knight f6, and yeah, this can have a lot of normal lines that come here. Knight c3, you can go e5 here. I'll play d5. Some might play e6. There's a lot of options, so you can actually vary your openings quite a bit by starting with knight c6, knight f6. So I played e5, and yeah, that's it's a little less common, I think. Black can play knight g4. There's nothing wrong with e5. Just what black does is just puts pressure on e5. It encourages an early trade. And, yeah, you could play ed maybe or cd, but yeah, both sides get a decent position out of this. Continue something like that, and then it's a game from there. So it's fairly balanced, but a little bit asymmetrical, which is good. Get a few more original positions out of that. Opperwezen did not choose knight g4. He actually chose d5. Now this is a common sacrifice. I think in some circles or in some forums, this has recently been called a Kroski gambit. In fact, this is probably more than 10 years old, though. I know as a player, Bugzilla. He's also on Elite Chess now, but he was playing this 10 years ago, if not earlier than that. A lot in Bug House, sometimes in Crazy House, with the idea being that if white captures, black recaptures and has a very safe king side in the future. And there's no holes here. I mean, white doesn't have a pawn to place on h6, and so black basically sacrifices an early piece. Has a pawn in hand. Sometimes, it's probably not a good idea to put this bishop and knight here because it can get forked by a pawn. And dynamically, black tends to get a decent position. I don't know if it's really something white can refute. I will sometimes capture it as white, sometimes not. I think maybe theoretically white is probably a little bit better capturing the knight and holding on to that extra piece. But I've also lost plenty of games as black. Sorry, as white, and I've captured this knight. So it's, yeah. In fact, Suwanet here chose not to capture the knight, and maybe that's quite deliberate to just throw a spanner in the works, and has chosen to pin this knight instead. And yeah, I'm probably more familiar with seeing moves like d4, bishop b5. Yeah, I'd say this is already a new position to me. And black's even still ignored the fact that this can be taken. So I think black's just basically going, well, my bishop will come out, I've got pawn at e4, I'm going to get a bit of compensation for this. The reason why it might be attractive here is if there's something like knight at a5, which hits these two. So yeah, black might have queen e7, and then white's either forced to play king f1, or yeah, it's probably not such a good idea after all. After it takes, and the knight's lost. You don't want to capture with a king, that looks quite risky. You know, black would win the bishop anyway, and white would have some holes in the position. So yeah, maybe not knight at a5, not such a great idea. In any case, Savant still did not choose to take the knight, he's deliberately avoiding this sacrifice. And knight e4, so opperwezen decided, well, that's enough time allowing that knight to hang. Key point being, you don't want to take this if you're white because of this pin. h3, so an attempt to alleviate the pin. Capture. Right, so I think that's a decent idea. Black here's seen that white's not developed this bishop just yet, and this d4 square is sticking out, and that's a nice spot for the knight, particularly because it hits c2 as well. So knight at d4, bishop takes c6. So I get the feeling maybe white was considering if something like queen d3 here, it's not great, because you might have something follow like this with the bishop there. You can probably take this. Bishop at a6 is playable. They're all moves. Maybe Swan decided he didn't want to allow that option. And yeah, it makes sense capturing them with the pawn so that this knight's still here being active. Okay, queen d3. Here's where it starts getting interesting, because now white is attacking the e4 knight, but also this knight's hanging. So if black decides something like to swap here, I think white's happy, gets to hit the knight, bishop's coming out, this knight has to retreat to an awkward looking square. Yeah, maybe bishop at b5. There's some fairly easy continuations here for white. White can even consider sacrificing this queen if you like. Even with a queen sake here, it's not so easy for black. Knight at c6 is coming, bringing the queen back. Black's really tied down. So this isn't really much to be concerned about. So yeah, positionally, I don't think knight takes c3 helps black. You could defend this knight and then part with the e4 knight, but I like what opperwezen chose. He chose e6, which is clearly just allowing white to capture here. If white chooses to take this way, it's not so great. Bishop at f5. Queen's not really attacking c6, that's defended. You've got two attackers on c2. This looks like it's heading downhill for white already. The position will crumble once this pawn falls. So yeah, why not take the knight? And the idea that opperwezen had is bishop c5, which now has this option. So it doesn't matter which knight you take, black's going to have an option like this. Now if, I don't think it's suitable for the white queen to move back here, it'll just get forked. You could potentially play queen a4. It's a little bit messy, but there's some checks to be careful of. Something like this, things can head south pretty quick. Pawn at e2 is now also dangerous. force mate with knight at f1, that forces rook takes, promote to a knight. Rook at e1 mate. So yeah, here I actually think white's best option is what's the one that's played, which is actually capturing the bishop. And in Crazy House, 2 minor pieces for the queen is a fair trade. It depends on situation, but in a lot of cases, it's preferable to have 2 pieces. In this case, yeah, I don't mind white actually. I think in playing queen takes c5, white alleviates a lot of pressure on the king side. There's nothing really near this quadrant. Black doesn't have too many penetration pieces in hand. So yeah, white could proceed with d4. Bishop at b4 was played. Before I get much further, I mean, I actually prefer bishop at c5 here, just because if the queen captures, you recapture with the bishop that's here, and that allows black to generate more initiative faster. 2 hitters on f2, capture, this line opens up, this pawn has future. I think that's preferable. And so, you could argue, does that force the white queen to move, and then you'd have this anyway. So, I think bishop at c5 might be a slight improvement there. Anyway, the way the game went, capture, d4, bishop at b4. And this I find a bit unusual. I would consider white can take this. Sure, black's going to get a pawn back one of a few ways. There's a target here, target here, target here. There's no immediate mate threat on the king. There's something like queen at e4, which really hits all 3 pawns. You'd want to play knight at e3 to cover these 2. Maybe queen takes e5. Yeah. I have a feeling maybe opperwezen was considering d4, which is winning a piece back, but then white should just castle out of that. And before things really start brewing here, maybe white can start trying to attack, get onto these squares. If black tries to defend, so like queen at g6, white gets to put more pieces on. This knight check's nothing special, it's just a check. And yeah, white's going to start gaining some momentum here. So yeah, I didn't mind capturing the knight. I thought that's not a bad move. I'm actually surprised at bishop at b4. I thought maybe knight e4 looks a bit more logical back here. Yeah, it's a pretty balanced game from here. White's got a couple of choices. Can either try to play aggressively, and has to be careful because there's a few dark square weaknesses. I'm not a big fan of taking this just yet, just because it helps black to open up. Black's got a queen in hand, so you want to try to limit the activity. A move like bishop at e3 is really sensible, just gives an extra bit of support to f2. The capture's nothing to be concerned about. If there's a pin, you can just keep putting pieces on the dark squares. And if black tries to come in through the light squares, yeah, that's a little bit more annoying, because knight c3 is now a threat. You can't really block with bishop d3 because takes. Knight at c2, and then things start crumbling. So against bishop at c4, maybe it's something like bishop at f3, just to give a bit of extra defense to e2. And there'll be a battle for the e2 square. Yeah, it's playable. Other option might be castles, but castles can be risky. There's some pretty sharp moves like this that just really start hitting the king side. It's very uncomfortable for white with black having a queen in hand. You're getting mated pretty easily. Something like this that's mated quite quite fast. If white chooses to defend, yeah, maybe this can be held, but bishop at h2, you'd be going this way. Yeah, maybe it's something white can hold. It's just not the most comfortable position. Maybe something like queen h2, queen h1 encourages the block. I'm not seeing anything decisive, for that matter. Yeah, maybe bishop at h4 is also an option. Anyhow, I kind of see knight e4 as a more natural move. I think it's still playable for both sides. Bishop at b4 was played, and what surprised me more is that white didn't capture here, and white chose to castle. I think that is a little bit inaccurate, only because capture, knight at e2, that's a key move. Sorry, knight at e2. It just helps get another piece in the action. King h1 and knight e4, and now suddenly black's threatening mate with knight takes f2. If the rook takes, queen at g1. Instead, if knight f2 and king h2, then pawn at g3 or queen at g3 mates. Yeah, nearly calls if king h2 is slightly more accurate here, just to avoid some of the checks. Could be trivial, but something like bishop at e3 seems to make sense. Anyhow, let's see what happens in the game. But knight e4 and you know there's tricks with knight g3 as well. White's played bishop at f4, and here's where things get a little bit nasty. I wonder here if the correct move actually is knight takes f2 check. Can't play rook takes f1 because of queen at g1. White would have to play king h2, and then yeah, I'm just seeing if there's an accurate way to finish. Knight g4 looks really attractive, but doesn't quite finish. There's definitely a perpetual check with king h1. The point being that after knight g4, capture queen h4 is deadly and finishing. Bishop or knight at h3 doesn't matter. Pawn at g3. So the key being with this check, black gets an extra defender here as well. King h1 loses to queen h2, and then capture is just the same thing. So instead of capturing here, white can only go here. It's not quite mate because of queen at g1 is still not quite there. But yeah, it looks like something very close to mate, but not quite. Maybe queen h4 is logical here as well. What that's doing, it's threatening queen at g1, rook takes g1, knight f2, king h2, pawn at g3. It also has a pin here. Yeah, not the easiest position for white to hold. Might have to play something like this. But even bishop at e1 runs into problems. There's an elegant move, queen takes e1. After rook takes, then queen at h2 mates, because the rook's no longer defending f2. So yeah, queen h4, knight at f3, do anything. Yeah, it's hanging in there. I mean, black can be really nasty and play queen f2. You can't capture it because of mate here. Or if you want to be more elegant, you can do queen at h2, and it doesn't matter if the bishop or knight captures, knight takes f2 as mate. And queen f2 itself threatens queen takes f1, bishop e3 holds the position. Yeah, white might be just holding on here. Or maybe not. Queen g2 looks dangerous. If the bishop takes, queen at g3 falls into mate. So white would have to commit this way. Yeah, queen at g2. Oh, I think here even something like knight takes f4 is sensible. I don't think white has enough to make. Or maybe. Be careful. Yeah, probably king f8 is necessary here. Check. So that escapes the checks generally. And then yeah, there's a lot of holes. But okay, that's a long way off the script. Just kind of went exploring freely. So I just thought maybe knight takes f2 as an improvement here. Queen h4 was played. That's also a strong move. Very logical. It's all the same sort of threats. Bishop at g1 played. So that's defending against most of the things that we've just mentioned. Things like knight f2. Yeah, I'm not seeing a clear path to mate just yet. I like opperwezen's continuation, which looks crazy. It's just put another queen in, and generally, white should feel safe here because all black has is a queen in hand, and it's usually hard to penetrate. But this is a really nice move. Key thing being, if capture, this is going to be mated, and queen at f3 then pins here, so threatens h3. So yeah, white's in some serious trouble now here, and it's really just started from this slight inaccuracy of not capturing c5 and allowing black to capture this knight and get just a couple knights near the king. You could also argue maybe, well, back here, here's a point I made where king h2 is just a subtle difference. Just makes it a little bit easier to cover some of the threats. Because here, if queen h4 and bishop g1, queen at f3 is no longer a possibility. You just capture it because his king's defending h3. So yeah, it's only a subtle point, but I think maybe king h2 is slightly better. Okay, queen at f3. So how to defend against this? This is very difficult. Queen takes h3 is just so strong. Not even bishop at g4 is an option because it's pinned. Yeah. So knight at e1, that makes sense. So defend g2, attack f3. Of course, black's going to capture, and then bishop at g3, and then still white's just holding on. There's no mate with knight g3 yet because there's too many defenders on it. So I think here black can't afford to back off. If you try to back off, you're going to end up losing material and losing the attack potential. So black's just committed here and has to just keep pushing straight through. So queen h takes g2, I think that's accurate. Capturing with the queen that leaves the remaining queen still pinning, I think that's important. So pawn at h3, threatening mate in 1. White has to defend again. And now white's pieces are kind of becoming the problem to himself. You could maybe argue um, taking this way is another option. Pawn at f3, threatening mate in 1, the difference being here. It could be more valuable having a queen here instead of on f3 just because it is pinned, because now knight at g3 mates. So yeah, I mean instinctively I would take with the queen that leaves the pin remaining, but maybe this pin is more valuable. I think it's fairly trivial anyway because black still has considerable advantage. After capture, knight at h4, it is just impossible for white to defend this adequately. There's no pieces that can cover the knight other than a queen, and once the queen's placed on the board, it's going to get captured somewhere. So white actually had to play queen at h3, which is just losing the queen on the spot. So here it's a clear win for black. There's many ways to win from here. Opperwezen chose a direct, elegant path. Putting the knight back onto g2. Yeah, maybe you can capture this, maybe it works. You don't want to run the king back with queen g2 mates. And then the idea would be knight takes f4. Yeah, running up's not much good. It's going to get mated. If you capture this, it's mated. And the point being that now if the bishop captures, we've got bishop at g2 as a supporting attack piece. And that leads to mate as well. So black can probably capture here, but knight takes g1's fine as well. Can't take with the rook because if knight takes f2, it's just getting another piece in hand. Black decided to capture. You could hold on a bit longer with knight at e1 maybe, but it's too far gone, I think. By this stage, queen takes g2, and then wrapping up. So yeah, instead of bishop at g2, he's gone bishop at f5. It allows a block, but there's still a finish with mate. So yeah, look, really nice game. I think what I wanted to highlight was probably how innocent looking black's position appeared back here. I mean, black had nothing in the quadrant. And I feel like rather than castles, white should have just committed to taking this piece. After d4 castles, things are a little bit different. I think white can start moving in to attack a bit faster. Black's kind of got a bishop here, which is out of place for the time being. The slight difference being that just castling straight away allowed black to trade off this bishop and then suddenly get knight at e2 in with check. That is a key move, knight at e2. If black just plays knight e4, maybe white has the opportunity to try to defend by other means. And the second knight's not there. Other small point being maybe king h2 slightly better defensively. After knight e4, then bishop at e3. I think white still has a game. It's a hard slog, but better place with the king here. King h1 also had its problem with knight g3 is also a possibility here, which isn't that exciting for white. So yeah, I applaud Opperwezen for the way he's attacked. He's only got a queen in hand, and queen at f3 is a great find. I think after that, it's decisively in black's favour. So yeah, hope you enjoyed that. I certainly enjoyed analysing. There's really good tactics in there, a lot of mating sequences. But yeah, real theme here that black had to just, once he started attacking, he had to commit, and then every move from there was just aggressive until he won. The only mistake would be if black was going to step back. So yeah, I'm going to close this video there. Again, look, appreciate the support of all the donators to my charity, Lymphoma Australia. So just a reminder, that goes to eventually helps my colleague. She's only 25, and got diagnosed with cancer a couple of months ago. So that's why I'm doing this. It's your opportunity to help someone a little bit less fortunate than you. A great cause. Please continue supporting. Help me reach my target. I'm going to close this video now. Just very shortly, I'm going to be taking on Atrophy for Combo Cage 8. We'll be having a dual stream, so yeah, look out for that video as well. Until then, good luck with all your games. We'll see you soon.